Let's see if that works. I don't know what the fuck that was. Yeah. I think I fixed it. All right, let's try that again. That's going to be it. They did. Let me see. Hey, yeah, I don't know what that was. That was weird. I went back and looked at it on my other YouTube page. I was like, what is that? All right, we back. All right, real quick. My name is Emmanuel Pierre, Coach E Pierre. To be exact, I am your certified empowerment, discipline, and confidence coach, teaching you how to be your authentic self and being confident in the way that you operate and move without the external sources. Today's topic is going to be life doesn't ask you to be strong, it asks you to be resilient. Shout out to Coach Derek for the topic because that is one of the topics that he sent me that was pretty interesting. Watched the video a few times and it definitely gave me a perspective of understanding where we all are, right? Because I'm actually in the same boat, wanting to always be strong and not think about the resilience of it all, right? Because I'm always wanting to be strong, always thinking that I can handle things, and there's days that we just can't handle it, and that's okay, right? That is understandable that we can't handle it. So we're gonna kind of dive into that a little bit. Kind of dive into that just a little bit. Should be 1 second. Should be fine. Yeah. All right, I'm sending a notification out. 1 second. I think I know what that was. Nah, I know not to stop. I need to stop clicking on stuff. I need to stop clicking on stuff. I know exactly what that was too. It was that little 360 thing that they had going on. I don't know why I did that. But we here. Let's see. It's not letting me get to my YouTube page. Little 360 thing that they had going on. Okay, there we go. Okay. All right, we good. I don't know why I did that, but we here. All right, we are good. Okay. So in regards to this, right? The way that I looked at it, and after I watched that video at least 10 times, she's right. She was right. Like I think I posted the video. But she's right. Um, Life doesn't ask us to be strong. It does ask you. It does require you to be resilient, though, if you really think about it. Because if you're telling yourself or you're telling everybody that you're strong, you got this, that means you're not willing to accept any help from anybody. You're not willing to really see things in different perspectives. You're not willing to really change. You're not willing to do all of that, right? You're just wanting to just operate the way that you think that you can operate, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But what happened when it doesn't, right? Like, how many times are you willing to keep pushing that button, right? And it doesn't work. And then you push that button again and it doesn't work. Like, how many times are you willing to do that until you realize that things have to change? Under his screen, like the line. I appreciate you, Hormiga. You know what I'm saying? Ask yourself that question. How many times are you willing to keep pushing that button and nothing changes, right? We just constantly keep moving in the same cycle or making the same mistakes or making the same decisions or thinking that we can handle every situation that comes our way and nothing changes, right? Think about it in the aspect, and we got to dive into it, the relationship aspect, right? How many times are you going to deal with a situation over and over and over and be like, No, something might change, but I got this. I can handle this. So you can handle a situation happening multiple times over and over and over. You telling me that it's not damaging you, it's not breaking you, you're not tired, you're really that strong or blind? Like, you know what I'm saying? That you need to operate somewhere some way different. You need to change your perspective maybe, or ask for help. Same thing with a job, or some type of. For me, it's the situation of understanding when it's okay to ask for help, right? You have to be okay to ask for help. You gotta be okay in understanding that asking for help is not a bad thing. Being strong, it's not for everybody. And the strongest people sometimes get tired of being strong. I know I'm tired. What about y'all? Are y'all tired? Because I'm tired. Being strong is not easy. It is not an easy thing. It works until it doesn't. And that's the part that really hits different. It works until it doesn't. We've seen it all the time. People that get so overly exhausted, they get tired, they get drained, and then it becomes a situation where they're not functioning the way that they're supposed to function, right? Their brain is not operating the way that it's supposed to. Physically, they look sick. You know what I'm saying? They start looking sick physically. Mentally, they're not good. Emotionally, they're all over the place, right? They're not able to make the right decisions the way that they're supposed to be able to make those decisions because they haven't had a chance to really breathe. But yet they're strong, right? They got this. They're strong. Nothing's changing though, but they're strong, right? They still haven't figured it out. They're still making the same mistakes. They're still not learning the lessons from those mistakes that they're making. But they're strong. That's enough. Them being strong is enough. They got this, right? Until they don't. Because that moment that you ask for help is when you're really being strong. That moment where you decide, all right, I can't do this by myself. Hey, babe, I can no longer do this by myself. I need help. That's when you really start being strong. That's when you really start actually doing the right thing for yourself, is when you ask for help. Because we're not meant to do things by ourselves all the time. Certain things require assistance. Certain things require us to be able to let our guard down, right? And show a level of resilience. And being resilient is not a bad thing. It's understanding that, hey, maybe I do need help with this project, or maybe I need to figure out another way to handle this situation that I got going on, because clearly nothing that I'm trying is working. So let me ask for help. Let me ask for a little bit of guidance and try to figure out what the right path is for this. Trying to find a different perspective that works and makes sense. It's not a bad thing. I don't know why it's shunned to ask, like people being shunned to ask for help. When it comes to ask for help, you don't need to be shunned, or you shouldn't be shunned when you ask for help. We're not here to overexert ourselves trying to do more than what our body and our mental is capable of doing, right? We need to know our limits. We need to understand how far we can go before we become pretty much a shell of ourselves. And that's a tough pill to swallow. Imagine you trying to be so strong that you're no longer being yourself, right? Because you're trying to find so many different situations. Hey, Mika, welcome in. You're trying to find so many different ways to be strong, and it doesn't work. But you're trying to do it on your own, right? You're trying to find the solution on your own. And it probably wasn't meant for you to try to do it on your own in the first place. But you're so strung over your ego. You're prideful. You're so prideful Your ego is in the way, so you're just like, I'm not gonna ask for help. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna figure it out no matter what. But what's the cost of that though? Thinking that you can do everything by yourself. The cost. Because there's a cost to that. Because if you can't figure the solutions to your problems, and this is not just for basic things, right? This is for if you're on your healing journey. If you have a project that you're trying to accomplish, you know what I'm saying? If there's something that at work you're trying to accomplish, if there's something at home you're trying to accomplish, right? And you know that, and you've tried everything that you could possibly try, but you're so strong on your ego that you're not willing to ask for help or guidance or assistance, right? But you're beating yourself up because you can't figure this thing out. You would think that that would be the key for you to be like, maybe I should ask for help. I've exhausted all the things that I can utilize to try to get this situated, but I'm not willing to ask for help. Let's try asking for help to see what that looks like. Some people won't do it. There's a lot of people that won't do it. Not even some. There's a lot of people that won't do it. I've seen it in real time. Especially when you extend the offer to help them and they're like, no, I got it. I'm cool, I got it. Or their response is, I don't know how to ask for help. I was never taught to ask for help. I was always told to do everything myself. Which is what most men were taught, right? We're not taught to ask for help, right? We're taught to do everything on our own and handle it on our own, no matter what the circumstances is, right? It took me a while to break that because, one, I'm a Capricorn, right? So that doesn't help my situation at all. I'm a Capricorn, and in my environment and in my community, in the Haitian community, right? We're not taught to ask for help, even though our community is pretty much together, right? The men themselves won't ask for help. They think they just got it. They got it. No matter what, they got it. They'll figure it out, right? But they're exhausted, drained, tired, just not able to really function the way that they should after the fact. Because once you figure it out, you got to build yourself back up again to be able to operate the next day. Imagine how tired you are, how exhausted your body is, how exhausted your brain is, your mental is. You're emotionally exhausted. That is also a play. That is also a play to Hoshana. You are absolutely right. That is also a play. But the one thing that I've learned, right, is help can come from anywhere if you're willing to ask for it, right? It doesn't have to be somebody close to you, right? This is why we do have coaches in the world, right? We have mentors, coaches, educators. We have people that are designed to help you for certain situations and circumstances. If it's somebody that, if you know that you can't ask your immediate people for help because you know how they are as a person, then maybe it's time to kind of go outside of the immediate, right? And try to find the resources that you need outside of the immediate. Because we've all seen it, because I've been there. Y'all know my story. I can't really ask my family for shit. Excuse my language, because they just, it's like talking to a brick wall half the time. You know what I'm saying? They'll ask me for everything, but when it's time for me to ask them for something, it's just like they don't hear it. It's like one ear and out the other. You know what I'm saying? So I get you. You're right. That's a point that can definitely play a role. But if this is why we have the people that we have in our world, right? Of course, it's easier said than done. But as long as you're willing, when you are willing, that's different. When you are willing to actually ask for help, then then you can actually put your best foot forward to find it. You got to speak it into existence. right? Nothing in life worth having is easy. Nothing in life worth having is easy. And asking for help is definitely one of them. You know what I'm saying? And wanting to be resilient is not easy either, because you are in a sense submitting. And I know a lot of people don't like to submit, but in a sense you are submitting when you're being resilient, because you have to learn a different way. You have to try something new. You have to learn a different perspective, hear a different perspective, a different thought process outside of your norm. So in a sense, you have to submit, and most people don't like submitting, especially us men. We don't like to submit. We want to know. We want to think that we know it all. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to building something, when it comes to buying something, you know what I'm saying? We just want to think that we know it all, right? And we don't. Even though we know that we don't, but we're gonna tell ourselves that we do. We're gonna trick our brain and tell our brain, yeah, we know it all, but we we'll figure it out. And then when it's time to actually put things together, it doesn't fall through the way that it's supposed to. But all we had to do was submit a little and be resilient and be like, yo, can you help me with this? Or can you show me how to do it so I can do it myself? Or can you guide me in the direction of what I need, or the person I should talk to, so that way I can learn this? You know what I'm saying? Just a simple conversation, simple question. You're not going to get the answer that you want all the time, but at least understanding to actually ask, right? And understand you're not going to get what you want all the time, but that is also okay, right? That's just a part of life. You keep going until you can't, but being strong and keeping going until you can't, that's damaging to your body, man. I'm sorry. Like, there's nobody that's going to be able to convince me that being strong is the way to go, because I've experienced it, and it hurts. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit hurts, man. Like, trying to be strong all the time hurts. Okay? Because when you're by yourself, like in the moments where you are by yourself, as Gen X, we were taught strength and resilience. We were taught strength and resilience. We learned to figure it out. Yeah, until you can't. Until you can't. What happens when you can't? Right? Okay, I was taught the same thing, Coach Tanya. Listen, Haitian families, that you know how it goes. They teach you to be strong. They teach you to do it on your own. But what happens when you can't? You know what I'm saying? That's the part where people get stuck. What happens when you can't? What do you do then? When you can't? You have to find another way. And sometimes the other way is to kind of submit a little bit and be like, hey, I need some help. Right? It's not a hit to your ego, it's not a hit to your pride when you ask for help. You may feel like that, but that's not what it is. Your brain was designed, your brain was trained to feel like that because you asked for help, but that's not what it is. That's not what it is. We were taught to be like that. We were taught to actually not ask for help, and that's crazy behavior. Because we speak about community so much, right? We speak about community so much. But when it comes to actually showing what community is, we don't. How is being strong and not asking for help community? Think about that. You telling me that I have to be this person where I don't ask for help. I have to try to figure it out on my own all the time and fail, learn the lesson and fail, and learn the lesson and fail in a situation where I probably won't ever figure it out. Right? Instead of looking for the guidance that I need to actually make it happen. and feel better about the fact that I actually accomplished this. I have to sit there and keep failing or not learning the lesson that I really need, because whether it's something that I've learned or not, it's clearly not working, even though it's a lesson that's being learned from every failure, every mistake. Maybe the lesson that I'm learning is not the lesson that I need. So you ask yourself that question. Even though we were taught to be strengthened, to be strong, or we were taught strength and resilience, when it's time to actually be resilient and add and do what's necessary, how? Because we can't have one and not have the other. They work hand in hand, right? There's moments in your life where yes, you do have to be strong, but not to the point where you completely exhaust yourself and you're drained and you're tired and you can't operate and function correctly because you're just being strong. You're not even using the resilience aspect of it. You're just being strong. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how does that work? You have to be able to operate within the two. You have to understand that there has to be a balance. You can't just constantly be strong and think that it's gonna work. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It'll work until it doesn't. And I'm gonna keep saying that because that's exactly what happens. It works until it doesn't. It's like a flashlight that the battery died on. Flashlight works until it doesn't. Now you're sitting in the dark. Your phone is charged until it's not. Now you have no phone, no charger. You know what I'm saying? Your stove works so you can make food until it doesn't. Now what? You get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't work that way. You have to be able to have a balance of the two. Always being strong all the time. You know how draining that has to be, especially for the ladies. Y'all have to imagine having to do that, especially being a single mom, taking care of kids, paying the bills, doing all the stuff that you do on a daily basis, right? All of that, constantly being strong. You guys have a limit to your capacity. Everybody has a capacity. Everybody has a capacity. Everybody has a limit. And more times than not, we go past our limit. And when we're tired, it's more than what is, the tiredness is more than what it's supposed to be. It is. It's more than what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be to the point where we can't even operate or function. You know, we get tired, we rest, we come back, we rejuvenate. But having to be overly tired and then you wake up the next day and you're still fucking tired, mentally, emotionally, physically, you're still tired. Like, think about that. That's a lot for anybody. That's a lot for anybody. No matter how you look at it, it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. There has to be a change, but you have to want that change, though. That's when the resilience come into play, and you realize maybe I can't do it by myself all the time. And if I have the help, why not ask for it, right? Because oftentimes we do see people offer to help others, and more times than not, people will be like, "Nah, I got it, I'm good," right? Until they don't. And then when it's time to ask that person for help again, they're no longer there. You already turned that shit down. You think they're just gonna wait around for you to come back and ask for help? You know, when you're actually, no, that's not how that works. People still need to move around and operate. They can't just wait for you until you want help. At that moment where they ask for that help because they see that you need it, take it. Don't be stubborn. You know what I'm saying? Take the help that you need. So that way, in that certain situation, circumstance, or experience, you know exactly how to operate now because they gave you what you needed to understand how to operate and move. They gave you it for that moment, and now you know moving forward what you need to do in regards to that situation. You adapted. Part of being resilient is to being able to adapt. How is that a problem? Adapting shouldn't be a problem. Learning something new shouldn't be a problem. Learning how to operate in another situation, in another way outside of what you think or what you were taught shouldn't be a problem. Because if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? You can keep telling yourself that it's going to work, but it's not going to work. You've seen it. You've tried it multiple times. You've seen other people try it multiple times, and it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, you have to find a better way. And if you yourself can't figure it out, get out your ego, let your pride down a little bit, let your wall down a little bit, and go ask for some help. You look a lot stronger asking for help than not asking for help, because we were not meant to do things by ourselves. And I had to learn that the hard way. You guys are not by yourself. It took me a while to figure that out. Like I said, I'm one of those people that I had to do everything on my own until I couldn't. You know how many times I've turned down help? More times than I want to admit. I've turned down help. But what happens when you no longer have that help and you really need that help? You know what I'm saying? Now you're shuffling. You're lost. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. What's gonna happen? I can't figure it out. You're stressing yourself out. Mentally, physically, just all of it. Stressing yourself out because you can't figure it out. You had the help and you chose not to take it. And yes, I get it. Not everybody has the immediate help, right? In regards to like the immediate people in your circle. And I understand that, and I'm not going to disregard that. I will never disregard that because I've been there and I know what that looks like. But there are people that are willing to help. And we have plenty of them. You just have to know where to look and what to look for. That's all. And you have to be willing to accept the help. Don't fight it. Fighting it is what got you in the situation in the first place. Fighting is what got you stressed out in the first place because you fought the help. You fought to take the help versus just taking the help. And we all seen what that looks like. It's not a good feeling. It's a shitty ass feeling. To when somebody's offering you help and you tell them no, and then the moment you tell them no, it seems like the universe is always listening. Like, think about the universe. It feels like the universe is always listening. The moment that you tell that person no, some shit happens where you need that person. It's like the universe trying to teach you a lesson. Oh, you didn't want to take that help? Okay, let me put you in this situation and see if you can handle it. And 9 out of 10 times we can't even handle it. But guess who could handle it? That person that asked you, that offered the help. That person that offered to teach you something and give you guidance and give you the knowledge to actually do what needed to be done. The universe is petty. I'm trying to tell you. Stop playing with your life. If the help is there, take it. Am I saying to take the help every single time? No. Sometimes you really might not need the help. You might really be able to figure something out. But the moment that you exhausted all your options and somebody comes up to you and be like, hey, I've seen you attempting to do this, that, and the third, and, maybe I can give you a different insight or perspective, or maybe I can give you something to that so that way you can figure it out. Take that help. I guarantee you all the outcome might come out a lot better than what you expected. And then you're going to be like, oh, I didn't even think about this. Of course you did. Because you're not the smartest person in the room. You can't figure everything out on your own. There's always something to learn, always something new. Like, look at us in 2025, where we got a whole bunch of AI shit going on. And there's plenty of people that dislike the AI system. Guess what's going to happen? They're going to get left behind because they're choosing not to adapt to what's going on in the world. They're going to get left behind. What they think that they know that works for them currently might not work in the next 4 years. You know what I'm saying? The world is changing constantly. So if you're not adapting to the new changes of the world, and I'm not talking about the negative stuff, right? I'm just talking about the changes that are currently happening that can help you elevate a little bit and kind of stay focused on what's going on. Then you adapt to it. Am I saying you have to use it? No, you just adapt to it so at least you know how to utilize it. Simple, right? But you keep constantly pushing people away or pushing situations away or pushing opportunities away to help you navigate better. And then you get upset because you can't operate the way that you're supposed to. Or you're always complaining about how tired you are and how exhausted you are. But you're not trying to find a better way. Who are you to blame besides yourself? Who are you to blame? Like, honestly. Because I'm no longer blaming anybody if I can't accomplish something or do something. I'm blaming myself because I could have found a better way. You got to ask yourself that question. It's a tough pill to swallow. I know a lot of us don't want to admit the fact that we're overly strong or we're too strong. I know it's a hard pill to admit. I know it's something hard to admit. I know it's a hard pill to swallow, but it is what it is. It's the truth. A lot of us are overly strong either because we were taught to only be strong, or we were taught to be quote unquote strong and resilient, but not taught how to use the resilience. We were just taught how to be strong. We were never taught how to operate the resilience or how to unlock that portion, right? We weren't taught how to use it or how to operate within it. We just taught, okay, we're strong, cool. We can handle things and we can keep handling things until you can't. And then that's when you have to learn how to use the resilience. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you got to really think about it. You got to think about it. It's so much to dive into, right? And a lot of us don't want to admit the fact that shit's hard, man. That shit is hard. It's a tough pill to swallow, and most of us don't want to admit it. We don't want to admit it, and it's okay, because there's going to be a moment where you have to. There's going to be a moment where you have to admit the fact that I just can't do it. I can't keep doing this to myself. I can't. You can't keep hurting yourself. You can't keep putting yourself in a position where you're that exhausted all the time. You can't. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to you. You don't deserve that. Nobody does. And I'm saying that now. There's not a person on this earth that deserves to be overly strong to the point where your mental, your emotional, and your physical is completely fighting to stay intact. That's crazy behavior. Sorry, not sorry. I don't care what you were taught. You're an adult now. You can change your narrative. You can change your narrative. You can change what you were taught. You can unlearn what you were taught to try to be better for you. It worked until it doesn't. Remember that. Remember, I keep saying that. It works until it doesn't. You're going to keep going until you can't. And when you can't, you're going to realize that you were doing too much. And you had to slow down. But what happens when you actually realize that? Are you going to ask for help? Or are you going to stay stagnant? Are you still going to allow your ego to play a role and really try to psych yourself out and think that you can still handle it when you can't? Your body's telling you that you can't. Your mental is pretty much shot and it's telling you that you can't. Emotionally, you're all over the place. Can't think logically. You know what I'm saying? Like you got like it's not a joke. Like it's not a joke. This layer of your journey, this layer of your life is one of the most difficult, if not the most important. All of it's important, but it's very important to understand your capacity, right? And half of the time it's not you pouring into yourself, you're pouring into other people. Let's talk about that. That strength that you're using, you're not even using it for yourself most times. You're using it for other people, your kids, your job, clients, other people, friends, family. You're not even using it for yourself half the time. By the time you even get to your cup, you probably have like, what, maybe a smidge to pour into yourself in that aspect. It did. I agree 100%. 100%. I'm not going to take that away at all. Being strong definitely it taught you critical thinking. Absolutely. Right? But it was limited because you can only teach yourself so much. You can only teach yourself so much. You know what I'm saying? You can gather some good information until you can't. You see how that works? You can do it until you can't. And then a different perspective comes into play. Because if we were able to handle and do everything on our own, there wouldn't be coaches. There wouldn't be therapists. There wouldn't be these people. There wouldn't be individuals like us in the world that help other people navigate. Unfortunately, right? If that was the case, then everybody in the world would be able to figure out their problems. And unfortunately, that's not the case. We would love that, right? But then we wouldn't have jobs. We wouldn't have jobs, Tanya, man. Come on now. We wouldn't have a job if that was the case. It taught some of us critical thinking. Not all of us. It taught some of us. But we wouldn't have a job. You know what I'm saying? If that was the case. If everybody figured it all out, we wouldn't have a job. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. You wouldn't be able to do what you're doing. Derek wouldn't be able to do what he's doing. Hormiga, Mika, Rez, all the other coaches in the world, right? Coach Chris. You know what I'm saying? Coach Bell. We wouldn't be able to do what we're doing if that was the case. We would love that, though. That'd be great. The ultimate goal is to make sure everybody's moving and operating the way that they're supposed to. That way they're not overextending themselves, and that overpour is a healthy overpour, not a negative one, and not a draining one. You know, it would be nice, and I would love that, but we got to be realistic. And I love that, and I love that critical thinking part. I appreciate that. That was a good one. That was good. That was good. I like that a lot, actually. But that's a tough pill to swallow, man. If everybody had it all figured out, we wouldn't have jobs. We wouldn't have jobs. It's crazy that if you think about it that way. Like if we all had it figured out, if everybody had it figured out, we wouldn't be employed in regards to what we're doing as coaches. Right? If everybody was able to figure out their mental health and their physical health and eating right and being confident and being disciplined and actually going through their healing journey alone effectively and having the actual tools that they need without going to a coach, we wouldn't have jobs. We would not have jobs. It's crazy that we think about it if you think about it that way. But no, I want everybody. The reason why I'm doing this, because obviously the way I say it is a little less sugarcoaty. I want to call it. So it's more to the point. The video that Derek sent me, she hit all the points. She hit all the points. I posted it on my TikTok, so if you guys want to go check it out, you can. But she hit all the points, right? But I want to be more real about what she was talking about. I feel like she was being a little politically correct with what she was saying, but I want to be a little bit more raw about it. I want everybody to stop playing with their lives, to be honest with you. We keep doing it, right? We keep doing it. As much as I love a person that's capable of being strong, I want somebody that's capable of being balanced. Meaning understanding where your capacity is for your strength, so that way you're not overextending yourself. And being able to be like, all right, let me take a step back and breathe. And figure out, am I overdoing it? Or am I in the right capacity? You know what I'm saying? Like that's my goal, for people to understand that. Know your capacity. Know your capacity. Learn how to operate or balance out the strength and the resilience. Because like Coach Tanya B said, in her generation, they were taught both. But were they taught how to utilize both? Is the question. Because even in my generation, I was taught both, but I was never taught how to use the resilience. I never taught how to actually operate within the resilience. I never was taught how to actually utilize it. I was always taught to be strong, right? That's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, they teach us that, but how do you operate without both? You don't. It's hard. It's a hard road. It's a hard journey when you don't know how to operate with both. And if you don't know the tools, you have to find somebody that's willing to give you the tools or teach you the tools, educate you. That's also part of being resilient. Is finding somebody that's willing to teach you these things. And it's important. So important, man. It's crazy how important this thing is. And it hurts to see a lot of people that I know personally struggling with this, right? Because it's like, I want to help everybody, but I want everybody to want the help. Because I'm not just gonna be like, yeah, let me help you. I can get you there. I know I can get you there, but you gotta want it. You gotta be willing to take the help. You gotta be willing to take the criticism and know when you're making a mistake, so that way I can teach you how to operate outside of that mistake and teach you the better way, teach you the solutions to these things. And it's hard, because seeing people that you care about and people that you know operating in such a negative and draining mindset, they look tired, they look overexhausted, they just look not themselves. It's scary. It's a scary thing, man. It really is. So, again, I ask you guys, do you want to be strong, or do you want to be strong and resilient? Or do you want to just keep operating until you pretty much wither away? Because that's what's going to end up happening if you constantly want to be strong all the time and don't want to know what your capacity is. You're just going to wither away. And nobody should live like that. I'm sorry. Nobody should live like that. You should not live to the point where you just wither away. Like, you know what I'm saying? Nobody deserves that. Not a single person on this planet. Everybody needs some type of balance in their life, and understanding the balance between needing to be strong and needing to be resilient. Everybody wants to be strong, and some people are capable of doing so. Some people's circumstances are different, just like Coach Tanya had mentioned. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, not everybody has the help and the guidance, right? That's immediate. But there's still people out there that can help you, and some people that are willing to help you. We just have to find the solutions to it. So, without repeating myself multiple times again, You got to ask yourself, as we're closing out, right? I'm not going to stay here until 8. I got another like 5 minutes. You got to ask yourself, do I want to be strong, or do I want to be strong and resilient moving forward, right? Do I want to be strong, or do I want to be strong and resilient? And me personally, I want to be both. I want to be both. I want to learn how to use my strength, but at a level at my capacity. I'm not trying to go over my capacity. I'm not trying to overextend my capacity. I want to go at my pace, at my capacity. And when I get to that point, to take a step back and breathe and relax and not do too much. And if I need to ask for help, be willing to take the help once I ask for it. Or if somebody offered it to me, to take the help if they offered it. Don't ignore that. That's the hardest part of this whole thing, is when somebody's like, let me help you. And then you have to figure it out, like, am I gonna let them help me, or am I just gonna do it on my own? You know what I'm saying? So, but that's also knowing your capacity, because if somebody's asking you or offering to help, they see something that you don't see. And 9 out of 10 times that'd be the thing too. Most people see what we don't see. They probably see that you've been struggling this whole time. They probably see on your face that you're tired and drained, that you're exhausted. You could try to mask it, but you can't mask it all the time. People like me, empaths, we feel it. We can feel that you're exhausted. So you can't bullshit us. If we feel it, that's because it's true. We feel that you're exhausted. So if we're asking you, are you okay? Or do you need help? We're not saying it just to say it. We know that you're tired. We know that you're exhausted. We can feel it. So just allow us to help you. Let us in. Let us help you. And for the people that can physically see it on your face, listen, not everybody got a poker face. So your exhaustion may be showing physically, and somebody can see it, and they're like, all right, you good? Can I help you? Like, am I able to help you? Are you gonna allow me to help you? And just like, see what happens, because they might help you, and it might work in your favor. They might help. They might not be able to help you in full capacity, but at least you learn something. You could try something different, right? You can add it to your repertoire and try something different. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much to it when it comes to being resilient, and we weren't taught to adapt. We weren't taught to utilize it. Honestly, we really wasn't. We wasn't taught to utilize it the way that we should. You know what I'm saying? And if we weren't even taught to utilize it at all, because words mean things, right? Words have definitions. Words have actions behind it. So learn the actions behind being resilient. Educate yourself. Teach yourself these things. They're important. They're needed. Very much so needed. And the people that are actually doing what's necessary, I'm proud of you. For the people that are willing to ask for help, I am super proud of you. You're doing the damn thing. For the people that are overly strong, I'm proud of you too, because you're able to still stand still, still stand firm, but maybe it's time for a change. And if you're willing to change, I'm proud of you. Sometimes change is good. Sometimes change is great. Learning how to be different is great. Adapting to new things. I'm not saying for you to be a different person. I'm saying to adapt to new things. The one thing we don't want you to do is change who you are as a person. We just want you to add more to your repertoire. Add more to who you are, so that way you can operate better. If you already know who you are as a person, then that's good. but there's always something to add. There's always something you learn, something new. Never be the smartest person in the room. Remember that. Never be the smartest person in the room, because you always want to learn and be different and add more and keep adding more, right? It's the best feeling in the world to be able to actually operate and be healthy in all aspects. This right here this is just one part of it. There's more to it. I promise you there's more to it. We're gonna keep diving into it. We're gonna keep going in, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you guys for being here. This was amazing. This is my first time actually going live on YouTube in full. So I like how this feels. This feels nice. This feels good. So I will definitely do it again. I don't know when I'm gonna go live again though, but I'll figure it out. But I appreciate you guys. I want you guys to keep being intentional about who you are. Keep being intentional about your healing. Keep being intentional about your journey. You guys are doing amazing. You guys are awesome. And I appreciate you guys so much for being about you and being willing to be better, because that's important. In a world full of negativity, make sure y'all choose love and love on purpose. Keep life simple. Love is the glue. Respect is the flavor. You dig, you dig, you dig. Make sure y'all live within your value energy.